What's going on, guys? This is the Local Play Only podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Jimmy, the big fucking weeb.
NANI?
What are we getting into?
Well, we'll start with the obvious. There's no
My hat?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
it's
I mean, I'm
a-
sure there'll be discussions about your hat on the podcast.
It's very possible.
There's no Phil today. Instead, we are joined by
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
We're joined by Jimmy.
Jimmy, or sometimes he's known as Wanch, or Danielson,
Or Yimadet.
or Yimadet if he's French and a woman.
Yep.
Lots of good things. And you are our first official guest for Guest Month.
Yeah, couldn't stay away after all those shout outs to me.
Yeah, people have heard the legends of Jimmy the Big Fucking Weeb. So that should make it pretty obvious what we're talking about, because we're talking about
Sports.
sports, exactly. We're talking about rugby. We're talking about golf, NASCAR.
I almost said squash.
NASCAR
but,
sport.
it's considered a sport.
I came here specifically for the tennis talk. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't be
you
tennis
dare
talk at
start
some
about
point.
it.
Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'll talk
I
about.
know, exactly.
But no, we're talking about anime.
What is anime?
Anime is a short form for the term animation, which revolves around them animating video.
Wow.
And then putting it behind voice acting and lovely stuff.
How angry does the term Japanimation make you?
Not that bad.
It irks me.
Why?
I don't know. It already has a term, anime.
It does, but then there's things like
Those are called cartoons. Anything else is called cartoons.
I will always disagree that something like Avatar is a cartoon. To me, it's
It's an anime.
an anime.
Yeah.
Even though it was not at all Japanese,
No.
they have a lot of different elements in.
Yeah,
But let me get open the paper, okay?
Ancient technology.
I decided that since we're doing anime and manga, an ancient form of art, that I would be using the ancient form of writing technology instead of my cellular device. The first thing I want to start off with is, Jimmy, who are you? How do we know you?
I mean, we all went to high school together and we've hung out since.
We did. Did I know you liked high school and anime?
I
Or
mean,
anime in high school?
I mean, there was that whole.
Well, I do like high school and anime.
Yeah,
There
it's
was
true.
that whole high school anime club thing that was going for a
Oh,
little while.
the
Yeah.
Fishy Fish Brigade.
Yeah, I didn't go to
Yeah.
that.
It was too weeby for me.
It wasn't
Yeah.
too easy. It was just too cringy for me.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so one of the big topics today. So we're going to talk about how we got into anime. We're going to go through stuff like our favorite anime, and one of the big topics revolving around this is anime culture. There's obviously some really great parts of anime culture. There's some really bad parts of anime culture, and there's some super crunchy weeby shit in anime culture.
Really?
So we kind of get to go through it all.
Oh, shit.
And then lastly, we'll talk about the current anime season. All of us are Crunchyroll watchers. So we all keep up to date on anime. It's
Yeah.
all simulcasted, so we can kind of keep up and see.
I haven't been, but
Much like the regular world, anime goes in 4 seasons. So right now we're on. What are we on? Are we still winter?
We're winter
Is
still.
it still
Yeah,
winter?
we're still winter.
Yeah, spring will start soon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
According to a groundhog on February 2nd. I don't know if that also predicts anime releases, but
I'm gonna say no.
that's
Does Japan
fair.
have its own groundhog?
I don't know.
Because I know there's Foxatani
If they
Phil.
did, they would just like eat it immediately, though.
Because Wyatt and Willie, that's our boy. But there's
Yeah.
Foxatani Phil, and I don't know if the rest
Like
of the
our Phil?
No,
Oh, he kind of looks like a groundhog.
that's
Now I'm just gonna insult Phil the whole time to see if he watches this.
he won't. But that's fine.
Oh, okay. But the very first thing we're going to talk about then is just how we got into anime. Easy topic, especially for Jimmy, for instance, because when we want to get to know you here, we want to get to know why you're a guest for anime. Out of all the weebs we know, which is
Because if you say you started
Yeah.
anime yesterday, like we're not.
yeah,
Gonna be like,
if
oh,
you're
that's
like
a weeb there.
yeah, I
I
started,
started
watching
this morning, please.
Yeah, if you're like I started watching Dragon Prince on Netflix yesterday, so I should be in your episode.
I like that show.
It is very good. But no, we know a lot of weebs. We know a lot of anime fans. Obviously, all growing up with anime. But
Except
we
Phil.
picked you because I think I picked you because you're one of the only people I know who is very as caught up.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
modern
Between
anime.
the three, you're probably the most caught up, followed right behind by you, and then I unfortunately I juggled so many. Like I started watching Titans.
Okay, like the live
okay.
action.
Yeah, the live action one, because Jess was like, "Oh, that looks interesting," and I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know," and it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm on like episode 7 or something.
Doesn't
like that,
blow your
so-
mind. I know Jorah Mormont's Batman later, so you can
Is
get ready
he?
for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was trying to
Okay.
guess who Batman was.
yeah, it's Jorah Mormont. So
That's funny.
the big thing the other one main reason too is out of all of us, you actually read the most manga or manga.
That
if
is
you prefer.
true.
I
I
don't
do tend to read more online nowadays, but I do try.
I
to
think
keep
that's
up.
kind of how life is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These books ain't cheap.
The only
I just don't have space for them.
the only manga I still actually read online.
This book is $26 Canadian.
That's a
And
lot. That's a lot of
that was when
Canadian
it was printed.
dollars.
So
Yeah.
who knows what it'll
But
be
yeah,
now.
I pretty much baby steps. It's funny because Jimmy obviously made a joke about how we're going to talk about tennis.
I knew you were immediately going
But
baby
Baby
steps.
Steps is a tennis anime, and the manga stopped. Unfortunately, it didn't even have like an official end. I don't think.
Ooh, yikes.
But like it's still being translated into English for all the ones they do have. But it's like so slow. Like it's like 2 chapters every like 3 months on like a website I go to. That's really the only manga I've actually kept up on.
Which is the hard thing, because if you're reading something that doesn't have an official translation, it could be months and
Oh,
months
it's
before you get
brutal.
one
There's
chapter.
no one's. It's no one's job to do that, right? It's just people
Yeah.
that feel like doing it online and they have
Yeah.
to really care about it. And obviously, especially if it's like an anime that.
Unless they're like published to be translated.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But not every manga is.
Yeah, and especially with
yeah.
something like Baby Steps, which it's like failed as an anime technically. They did the 3 seasons and they stopped.
Yeah.
And the manga got canceled. It means it obviously doesn't have this super inspired fan base.
Yeah.
So finding someone who's going to take lots of their free time to then do this all the time, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But that's why we picked Jimmy. We'll start with me as to why or how I got into anime.
How?
So I was 11 at the
Ooh.
time. I was a sports kid. We've talked about this in
Yeah.
different podcasts before. I only got into anime because I moved to our area when I was 11. Had no friends because like I moved. There was nothing wrong with me. I feel like I was a pretty normal kid. But it's like at that point everybody kind of has their established friend groups.
The clicks.
Right.
And then actually what happened is the first month of school I went without any friends at all, which is pretty standard for a new kid moving. And then the very first day of the second month of school, a new kid started, who was my friend Eric. He was Korean. And since he was also new and had no friends, he just kind of joined me and we became friends. And then, like a month later, a different guy moved like 3 months in, and then he also joined our friend group because it's like, hey, we're all just the kids who moved in, so we'll be friends with each other. So a lot like how I got into many different types of video games, anime. I think the very first anime he showed me was Naruto, followed shortly by a One Piece episode, which is funny because I never actually watched One Piece till years and years later. I thought it was kind of weird, and a Full Metal Alchemist episode. They were the shows that were
You
currently.
kinda dipped your toes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
mean
were the shows that were
Naruto
currently.
and One Piece.
It's true. It's true. They were the shows that were airing on like YTV at the time or
Oh,
whatever
good
it
old
was.
Yeah.
YTV.
And obviously at this age, like we all still had dial-up internet, so you weren't going to be streaming. There was no anime stream sites really.
Yeah.
There was,
Day I got high speed. Oh boy, was there some streaming going on.
yeah, like most of my early time watching anime, other than watching on TV, was spent with maybe like AnimeFreak.tv was one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, that's a
early
big
ones.
one.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much all it was. It was trying to find something where like a Naruto episode coming out on a Thursday, a week later, I'd hope to find it online subbed.
Yeah.
We didn't have the beautiful thing that was Crunchyroll now, where it's an hour later,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. But those were the first animes. I don't even really know. I think deep down anybody can like anime. There's like an anime for everybody.
Exactly. It's not.
It's
like,
a medium.
obviously-
It's not a genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as like an 11-year-old kid, every time something like super hype would happen in that, I was like, oh yeah, like that's really cool looking.
Yeah.
And then I was just starting to get to like the emotional state where I could start to comprehend deeper stories and stuff too. So stuff like Full Metal Alchemist, I was like, oh yeah, like this is like a cool show. This blonde kid's just kicking people with his robot arm. But then it also gets a lot deeper, and it's a lot of
Yeah.
military stuff too.
Yep.
Military kid. So there's a lot of like undertones about how the military is bad. So I was like, ooh, I was thinking
Military
about
bad.
this. So it got me, and that was kind of how I started. And then from there, I obviously moved on, and I got into a big phase when I was like 13, 14, where I would just watch every anime down a list. Where that's where you get some really weird anime. It was just how
Yeah.
I stumbled onto Claymore when I was in the
That's a good
seas.
one. I like that one.
Akikan, which is where you
I
drink the
remember
cans.
We talked about that one before.
Yeah, where you take a sip from the can, they turn into the girl, and then it's like a battle royale where they have to fight.
Yep.
There's every single type of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a big reason to introduce people, or a big helper, is actually Studio Ghibli.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like you can tell anybody, and they could go, "Man, I hate anime," and then you get and sit them down, maybe watch Spirited Away or like Howl's Moving Castle, and they will go, "Wow, that was a masterpiece," or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they can. It may not be for everybody, but there is going to be something for that person.
The
Like,
funny
there's-
part, though, is that probably a little bit different than you, maybe not much, and I don't know if it's actually different than Jimmy, is what are the anime that most kids are going to say, even people that don't watch anime, they're like, what's like the 1 or 2 anime they've ever seen starting off?
Pokemon.
Pokemon,
One's a big one. Naruto, I think a lot of people have seen at least one episode
Digimon.
of.
There's still two big
Digimon,
ones.
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. It's a very big one.
Oh, I'm gonna feel so stupid.
Yep.
Metabots.
No, I mean that was very good, but
Was
that
it
was
an anime or was it a cartoon? I don't
I
remember.
would classify it
It's
as an
been a
anime.
long fucking time.
the big one.
Beyblade.
You guys are gonna feel bad that you're not getting this.
I'm
one.
gonna
Oh,
feel super
man.
bad. Please tell me.
They yell a lot.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
yeah.
Whenever you talk to someone who's
Oh.
like, yeah, I saw anime in the 90s, Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Those were like the two big ones, like how a lot of kids started.
Oh yeah.
I didn't give a shit about either of those.
Yeah.
So that was not
Yeah.
how I started. It was literally Naruto when I was like 11 or 12, and that was the first anime I feel like I'd even seen, other than Pokemon or Digimon, which
Yep.
I still think are pretty on the precipice between the anime and cartoon area.
I mean, the dubbed versions are because they do tone it down for kids.
yeah, that's-
My donuts.
for the most part,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
all of those kind of things dubbed are very cartoon, and then
Just the
subbed you can
4Kids
actually get
stuff.
pretty anime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh though, like that. And
God.
subbed, that stuff was pretty dark.
Was it? We were bringing this up at
We
D&D.
talked about this the
or-
other day. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had the finger guns and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even later on, there was like, you lose the duel, we'll cut off your feet in the original sub, and it's like, oh, you go to the Shadow
Yeah,
Realm.
they just use Shadow Realm for everything in the dub. They're like,
they're
Shadow
like,
Realm, I
This
guess.
gun will take you to the Shadow
Yeah,
Realm. And it's just like,
every
nah, that's a
time.
real gun.
I'm gonna tie you up on this bed and Shadow Realm you.
whoa, whoa.
Well, that got dark.
Yeah, that did.
But that's how I got started in anime. So we'll go to Andrew next.
Okay, so my first two was I pretty much watched Sailor Moon from air date. I remember popping that on my TV. I would actually spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house, and she didn't give a shit what we watched. I put it on. She liked it more than I did. Like, she was like, man, that person's my favorite.
Except for them naked little girls.
Hey, who cares? Who cares?
Oh,
He was a little
Japanese
boy at the
stuff.
time. It's
she,
okay.
she was wrong, though. She liked, I think, Mars more.
We all know that Jupiter was the best.
Jupiter's the best one.
Jupiter was the best
She
one.
shot lightning dragons from her face. Who else did that? No one.
I also think I liked her because she had brown hair and I had brown hair.
She's also tall as shit.
The rest of them were all black hair or blonde, so she was like the brunette like me. So
One of them was blue.
I'm not gonna lie, I liked Mercury.
yeah, I didn't like her at all.
I didn't like Mercury.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's-
Jimmy.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
it's her.
It is a very specific taste. I
No, it
understand.
is. It is.
very
It-
specific
yeah,
taste,
it's
yeah.
very.
But she did have blue hair. I will say
She
that.
did,
was
yes.
different.
So I guess she could be the other cool one. But
And
I wanted
Molly?
the brunette like me. Yeah, Sailor Molly and Sailor Melvin.
You
Yeah.
can't forget
Our
about
biggest
Sailor
favorite.
Melvin. But yeah, pretty much Sailor Moon from launch or air date, I guess, not launch date. I'm thinking video game speak here.
We talk about a lot of video games.
We do. I would also say another big one for me was actually Inuyasha. I watched
Oh,
a
yeah.
shit ton of it. Like, I remembered I had I recorded them on a VHS player. I had the first 6 episodes.
Is that legal?
No, yes, it's a gray area.
I'm just gonna pop your bubble. A lot of what we've been discussing hasn't been technically legal.
Like what? Like AnimeFreak.tv and all that kind of
I'm
stuff?
gonna say just reading manga online. Technically, a lot of
that's
Oh
the
well,
time.
that's you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one was a big one for me. Growing up was Inuyasha. Obviously, I started watching Pokemon. We all like Pokemon.
Like the Saturday morning cartoons on like
Yeah.
the WB network and
yeah,
stuff like
and
that.
Teletoon and MyTV.
The one with the Animaniacs where they became superheroes. You know, not the Animaniacs.
the fuck
The
are you
Looney
talking about?
Tunes where they became superheroes.
Yeah.
That shit was bomb.
Yeah,
I explained
Do you
that to so many people and they
remember,
forgot.
Freakazoids.
Yes.
Yeah, that show was great.
Fred's
Yeah.
Imaginary Friends, or the hell it was called. There's so many weird
Ned's
shows.
Newt.
Yeah. My favorite anime, Ned's Newt.
What's with Andy? That's my favorite.
Oh God! Thank God Phil's not here for that.
But yeah, so honestly, I've just watched anime since. There was a time I did buy DVDs for a long time. This is my 13th year going to Anime North, 14th maybe, and I would just go there, bomb whatever money I had. I used to buy a lot more, like DVDs and Blu-ray sets, but they're
Yeah.
fucking expensive.
Yeah, as an
Oh, yeah.
adult,
Blu-rays
especially
are bamboozling, like
the fact that you
$78
know
a set.
the fact you know deep down that you could get that for the most part like off Amazon or illegally downloaded or something like that, and
Or
then
just
how much you're
Crunchyroll.
or how much you're gonna
Yeah.
pay for it as an adult, where you're like, I have to get like a mortgage and
Yeah.
it's like
I mean, the worst ones are when you get the ones that are multiple sets, like part 1, part 2, part 3, and you're paying like $60 a
those are
piece.
so bad.
Yeah,
We'll get into Anime North more when we get into anime culture.
Of course.
That's
Yeah.
as close as
that
like,
is a culture of anime.
that's
So-
as close right now, other than going to Japan, as we're getting to Japan with like an anime convention.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, what was your first anime experience like?
For me, I mean, I did grow up watching Pokemon, and Dragon Ball was a big thing for me. I feel really bad that I didn't pick that up earlier because just kind of faded into the white noise.
It was funny because I was thinking about Dragon Ball before he asked me what it was. I was like,
But
I
I'm
was like,
talking
oh yeah,
about-
Dragon Ball, and then he said it, and I'm like, I don't know.
Like I did think that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a pretty basic one.
Yeah, but for me, I used to catch a lot of the Adult Swim catch up like first thing in the morning because I used to get up really early.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, a lot of it was actually the original Dragon Ball series and Card Captors.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Card
I
Captors.
fucking looked right at it. I forgot about Card
Meg likes
Captors.
card captors a lot.
I do. I watched the newest season. It was actually really good.
Yeah, I still have to
Clear
watch the
Cards.
newest season.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, I was really worried about that because that's kind of my childhood there.
It
Easy to
was
ruin.
worth the like.
Worth the wait.
It didn't do anything magnificent, but it didn't ruin it, and that's all I
Okay.
really cared about. I was like, I didn't want them to just go, "Remember this thing you liked? We're going to pour oil on it and light it on fire." And I was like, "No, it did."
So what-
Yeah,
most
it didn't
remakes do.
achieve greatness, but it didn't ruin it. So that's
Okay.
honestly more important. It's not like Berserk, which is another one that I watched, like the new season of Berserk, because
Right.
that shit's awful.
Where they went like full CGI stuff
it's
or
so
whatever
bad.
it's
Oh
called.
man, that was painful.
If the story wasn't interesting, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't care as much. But the story's interesting.
So for the most part, do you guys think you got into much more standard anime, then you went back for some older but like classic ones? Like even something like a lot of the anime I watched came out after something like Inuyasha, but then I went back to watch Inuyasha later when I found out about it. Stuff like was like Cowboy Bebop, for instance, is older, but it wasn't the first one
Yeah.
you watched, right? You got into it and you went back.
It was in the recent. Like I
Yeah.
didn't watch it on air by any means,
Yeah.
but I did. It was within my 100 anime
Yeah.
shows. That's the only thing. I've watched so many that like, and so many just fucking random ones. So, like,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of like 11 episode ones that you watch and then you forget about it. Then one day you'll see it. And
yeah. Did you ever watch
remember
Girls
that.
Bravo?
yeah.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yes.
I always think when I'm thinking like random ones, like even a recent one is like Yamada Kun and the Seven Witches.
Oh my god,
Which
I
is the one
forgot
where
about
when he
that.
kisses them, he switches like the powers and all that kind of. It's like really, really weird.
Is that the one? Seven Witches.
He like accidentally kisses a girl
Yeah.
because they're all these women are like witches. They have a power, and then he switches bodies with her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was a good one.
There's just like so many strange anime where I'm just on Crunchyroll, like click one randomly. I watch like the first episode. If I'm interested, I keep watching. If I'm not, I just stop right there. Like I didn't lose out on anything.
I didn't finish it because I didn't enjoy it, but it was just like, how did I get reincarnated world with this strong or something like that? And she gets half of the world's powers or whatever.
Oh yeah, I watched the first few episodes of that one
Yeah,
too.
it was.
It's an interesting concept. She's like,
yeah,
I want
well,
to
it's
be, I wanna
another
be
one.
exactly average.
It's not the one where it's
and
like wants to be overpowered or asked not to be overpowered.
Yeah,
or whatever.
they
Is
asked
that
her
one?
because
Okay,
she has to be average in everything, but apparently there's like one super dragon
Yeah,
that drags the average up super high.
yeah, it's like between God and an amoeba is what they did.
yeah, and so it averages out in between God.
So the next question I'll ask then is, how old did you guys say you were when you got into it? About
Oh, I'd have to look because it would be the air
it's
date
young,
of
but like young. I'm assuming that if it's like Sailor
8,
Moon.
7,
Yeah,
something like
I would've
that.
been 11,
Probably around the same.
12.
Yeah.
Was it hard growing up as a fan of anime, in the sense of that it was not cool, and now kind of like gaming and comic books and superheroes, that kind of stuff, it's become acceptable and cool now to have that as like a, your like quirky hobby kind
Yeah.
of thing. But then it was like you didn't tell people.
That's
Like, I don't-
exactly it. I didn't tell anybody.
If you
Yeah.
had like I eventually had similar friend groups that like that kind of stuff, but even for the most part, like I don't I don't like when people can tell all of my hobbies by looking at me. It's not my goal. I'm not walking down the mall in a Charizard hat with like my Gandalf staff and my
Ooh.
Pikachu slippers, like it's
that sounds awesome.
with my Ichigo sword on my back. It's just I
My
don't want
Zanpakuto.
I never want someone to look at me and be like, "Oh, he likes anime." I want them to look at me and then they actually have to have a conversation with me to figure out what I like.
Yeah, they walk up to you, you look like a normal guy, and you're like, Oni-san!
But a lot of it just comes to the fact that like I think growing up, even going through high school though, I didn't want to tell other than my normal friends. I wasn't like very
Hey,
down.
girl, how's it going? Yeah, I like anime.
Yeah, there's a lot
it
of
wasn't
stuff
an
too.
opening line.
Like I never really talked to people about other hobbies. Like I had like K-pop and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of a weird one. That's what even something like that, the anime group.
Yeah.
As cool as like I know that a lot of places, there's probably a lot of schools that don't have anime clubs,
Yeah.
and when people are interested, that's got to suck for them.
Yeah.
But like to me, it was too much.
Oh, it definitely was.
It was too much for me to go there and actively be like, oh yeah, I'm part of this group. I just
Have
didn't
you
want
ever
to.
heard of Yaoi?
I just didn't want to
that was
do
one,
it.
one of the topics I think one day.
Oh, of course it is.
They had a bunch of topics, and it's not that like I'm happy for all those people that they have the passion, they were able to
Yeah.
exude it so much, but like I just couldn't. I had in the back of my mind, I always wanted to be like a decently normal human.
Yeah.
And I just I couldn't do it for the
I
most
had
part.
2 friends, Josh and Eric, and we would basically just kind of like our game swap, but we would just cycle. Like one of us would buy an anime, and then we'd cycle and
Okay.
swap, and that's that big binder. I forget who has it. I think Mike might have it.
Mike had it last. He
Yeah,
lent it
and
to me
it's
for a
just
while.
an
and I returned it.
anthology of anime. Like it's probably worth a couple $100 or so. But like there's some old shit on there.
Yeah, like that is the original Higurashi, I think, on it.
Yes,
even.
it does.
Actually,
Which is like
Jimmy,
$100.
did you know I'm actually known for recommending anime to Birch, him not paying attention to it, him watching it later, then recommending it to me?
So it's like me and BM.
It is like you and BM exactly.
Yeah. Or I hold out on purpose. Like he'll be like, Birch, you should really watch this
He's
anime. I'm
like-
like, no, it's stupid. I'm not gonna watch
Do you
it.
remember how long you didn't watch Arslan for? And then I'm like, no, Birch, you'll love it. There's a guy with a spear and he spears things. And you're like, that does sound pretty cool. And then I made you watch it. You're like, this anime's fucking awesome.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Did you ever watch Gween Saga? Do you know which anime I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I never
With
watched
the he had a jaguar head.
Yeah.
That you going back on that, but it actually the writer got I believe struck by a bus as she delivered the first script, and the show was never finished. It ended with like we'll do it, and then it just stopped.
At least that makes for a great tale, you know?
I was like, man,
There's a
this
lot of
show's
people
so
that
good.
are brought down by buses, you know?
Man, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Like, did you bus drivers just like put on their murder hat in the morning? They're like, today's the day.
It's just the sheer number of people.
Yeah, I guess so. But
But Jimmy, what about you? Would you say it was hard growing up as an anime fan? Did you hide it? Did you exude it?
To a degree, I mean, for the most part, it wasn't a problem. But I know, particularly my family wasn't hugely keen on it. So even like I was awake at like 5 a.m. watching anime because otherwise they would give me shit.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard, especially in an area like this. I mean, I know we
it's
didn't
very-
all grow up in this. Did you guys all grow up in this area?
I'm from grade 5. I grew up here.
Okay.
yeah, I'm in the same general area as I am now. So.
Yeah, like in this area, it's a very conservative area. You know, I mean, obviously life has changed a lot now, but back even in those days, you know, like there's a lot of things that weren't as accepted. So like anime was still very weird, and like to your parents, they'd always like, it's like when they'd come and be like, oh, like they'd even make fun of you for watching like Pokemon. They'd be like, oh, what's this Pikachu?
My mother
thing?
would always say, "Oh, you're watching that in your Asha again?" And I'm like, "Shut up."
It's true. I don't know. It was weird. I obviously with all my close friends, they all knew. It's not like I was hiding it. It's not like it was my deep,
Oh yeah,
dark
no, my
secret.
friends knew, but like
Yeah.
anybody past that didn't know.
But yeah, it wasn't like a thing where like if I was in a class with like none of my friends in high school, like a sociology class, and they're like, oh, like write down like your hobbies on the board kind of thing. I wouldn't be writing on there being like fucking hentai
Anime titties.
on the board.
I mean, I
kind
think
of
that's a
thing.
completely different category right there.
Yes, it is.
But I wasn't doing that. But I wasn't like it. All my friends kind of knew, and most of my friends actually weren't into anime when I was growing up.
Only the two were like all of my other friends were very like video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like all my friends were video games, but then there was like the subgroup of anime and video games.
Yeah, like a lot of people too. Like Ryan, for instance, he's one of my groomsmen for my wedding. He didn't watch anime, but he played video games. He's a very classic, like
Final Fantasy guy.
exactly what you picture when you think about like a classic like nerd playing video games. You know, a little
Right.
chunky, the glasses, that kind of stuff. A little bit of a weeb, but like non-anime related.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, dude, you like all these Final Fantasies for their deep stories? Check out some of this anime shit. And I just remember like we did some of the cringiest shit, and this gets into the anime culture talk after. But I'm talking like lip syncing to like fighting dreamers from like the Naruto
I
thing
did
on
that.
like video.
Definitely did that.
You know, like going on. It's just so much stuff. I used to write my own. There was a while where I wrote like before Shippuden came out for Naruto. I wrote my own story of what would happen if it was like
Who
5 years
got
later.
together?
No one really got. I don't remember who
No
I put
pairings?
together, but my main character actually was a younger brother of Shino, the bug guy, because I felt like Shino didn't get enough attention.
He never does.
I know, so I wanted to give his whole story a little more attention by making my main character his younger brother.
What about 1010?
No one cares. I still don't care about 1010.
I forgot she existed
Everyone
until
did.
I think the last D&D sesh. Somebody said something about a scroll that summoned weapons, and I was like, "Oh my god, 1010."
Yeah, 10. You're like, oh yeah, that chick. Yeah, it was the weapons master in Dance Campaign.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
So one of the big reasons I mentioned that I brought Jimmy on is because I wanted to talk about anime versus manga
Right.
or manga. I don't want to upset anybody in one way or the other. Do you guys say manga or manga?
I say manga.
I kind of say both, usually manga. But
Fine, we'll switch every time. I used to say manga exclusively.
Manga.
And then yeah, it's always just that stupid frickin' Sakura-Con commercial.
Oh, God,
And
yes.
manga. It,
Oh,
it ruins
man.
it for me because I can just say manga and like you don't really tell, or I can be like manga.
yeah. And anime.
Garugamesh. Obviously I have manga. We all have manga.
Yeah.
As an adult, though, I used to have a rule.
I actually don't have any manga.
No.
Jess has a shit ton of manga, but I don't.
I know for a fact she has
Yeah.
the Nejima manga.
Yeah. She does
She
have that.
got it from Jimmy.
Yeah, she did. She's still finding my bookmarks in it, probably.
Oh, probably.
true.
As long as it's not any on weird pages, Jimmy.
Sticky pages all stuck together.
I mean, in that case, your girlfriend's the one who bought it from me.
That's
so-
true. That's
or
true.
sorry, wife.
It is wife now, but that's
I
fine.
had a rule. It was after I started working where every single time I got paid, or every single week, even when I had like an allowance, I'd buy like one manga, and I wouldn't know what they were. I just like the way I discovered Black Cat is I just saw the first cover. It was
Okay.
like the main character laying on a couch with all these like gangster people behind him. I was like, that looks dope. I'll buy that. Own all the Black Cats. Same way I started with like Pandora Hearts, all that kind of stuff. Like so many different series. I would just go in, and the art on manga is just so cool.
Yeah.
You'll buy tons of them, but like it's not cheap. It's not a cheap hobby
Yeah.
to get into.
It's like
Considering
it's
depending
like 12, 15 bucks a piece.
yeah, and depending on the manga, you can if it's like an action one, you
blow
can read
through it
that in
and-
like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite manga series of all time is actually Bakuman, which is behind there.
That is a good one.
But yeah, I know
It
what
is
you're talking
yeah,
about.
it is. So it's by the writers of Death Note
Yep.
because there's two of them. There's a writer and an animator or an illustrator. And it's kind of a biography about how they wrote Death Note. They obviously don't call it Death Note, but it's just like their struggles, and it shows how like manga artists kind of
Kill
work.
book.
Yeah.
It literally shows like how Shonen Jump pays people, like how it kind of determines like how people. And now once you read that, when you watch an anime, you start to see it. Like sometimes when you see an anime that's like one type, all of a sudden switch to a shonen, it's because something in the ratings wasn't doing that well, so they tried to switch up the genre of it to make it do better. And
Hey,
once you go through it, you see it. But that one is actually there's a word count normally for manga where it's supposed to be under a certain amount, and that one was always about double, so they got in trouble all the time. But when reading one of those, each one took me about an hour and a half, so I felt like I was getting more of my
you're getting
money's
better
worth.
bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy, you're the most avid manga reader, I'd say, still out of all of us.
Probably, yeah.
100%.
What was the last manga you read?
Like finished or
Yeah, non-hentai.
I mean, if we're talking about something I've just been catching up on, I've been reading Saidokai Yakandomo, which is just a comedy series. For having caught up, there's a newer series called Rental Girlfriend, which is about.
I've
basically
actually heard about that.
yeah,
one.
it's basically compensated dating about a guy getting involved in that. So it's just an interesting series. And
So in general, is there a manga series that you like more than its animated version?
ooh, I'm gonna go Pandora Hearts.
I also think that, and I was Pandora Hearts was going to be my main one. If you've never have you ever seen it or read it?
I have not. No.
Well, it's good in both, but it's much better manga. And actually, Black Cat's my other one because they have very separate stories.
Oh.
And if you asked me many years ago, I would have said Full Metal Alchemist, but that was before Brotherhood came out. So
okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Brotherhood did do that.
yeah, then it becomes the same thing. What was the last manga you read?
I bought Jeff's Shokugeki no Soma's 1 through 8, and I think I read the first 2.
See, something like Shokugeki no Soma, I will always prefer as like an anime.
Oh, it's 100%
watching
better.
those,
Yeah.
fake knife skills, even though it's just scenes all put together. and
Insane.
There's so many things
But
that
I don't read manga, and this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but it kind of ties into is I get really distracted. Like if I'm reading a book, I'm gonna put the book down and like grab a drink, and then I'm not gonna go back to the book.
Yeah.
At least anime, it pops up, and like at least there's fun freaking colors and everything like that. But that's only recent. I was one of those people, dubbed or I wouldn't watch it.
oh yeah,
up
one of
until
those bad people.
Yeah, there were so many
Like
animes
Phil.
that I was like, yeah, maybe. But there were so many anime that I was like, oh, when that comes dub, I'm gonna watch it. And to my knowledge, I don't even know if they ever did, like Toradora and stuff like that. I don't
yeah.
think they've
Toradora's
done.
Dubbed is on
Have they
Crunchyroll.
done? Okay.
Yeah.
I-
That was actually I watched it.
Is
dubbed.
it?
Yeah, Meg
Did they
also
do the
watched that
dub
dub.
newer though, or was it right after?
It was relatively.
I think it
soon
was,
after.
Was it? Okay.
It's good dub though.
Is it okay? Well, there's been a couple animes where like I refused. I was like, I'm not that weeb. I'm not breaking down that barrier. And then I don't remember what anime it was. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it, and off.
You're
I
like,
went.
oh wait, it's a weird thing. Like when you try to explain it to people, like I think we've tried to talk about like with Phil before on the podcast about how subtitles. Once you've watched so many things with subtitles, like once you're watching anime every single night, you like forget they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear I've turned around before for like 3 minutes and known exactly what was going on in the anime. Like I swear I even just like I comprehended the Japanese for a brief period of time, just because like the amount of years you've been watching it kind of thing. Then
Yeah.
you just turn back and you keep going. Like
I
it's-
watch everything with subtitles. now.
distraction. Oh, yeah.
Netflix, Disney Plus, everything. It has subtitles
Yeah.
on. My mom came over to babysit Axel, and she's like, "Why do you have subtitles on?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just
Mine actually.
I
would I
catch
not?
background things."
So mine depends on how far I am from the TV and how big the TV is. Because if
fair.
I'm close and the TV's too big, it means a lot of times I get distracted by the subtitles on the bottom and not looking at the full screen. But in my like room where I watch anime, it's like a small TV in the corner, always
Yeah.
subtitles. But if I watch anything on there, subtitles.
Yep, no,
Watched
that's
Harry
fair.
Potter on it last night. Had subtitles on that.
Which one?
I'm on just the second one.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Chamber of Secrets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
In general, though, I actually, like, if you're in your mind, you're like, I should really start doing like 1 30-minute walk every single day. You're like, it's healthy for me. It's good for my state of mind. That's like me with manga. I remember when I used to read manga every single day. It was like such a relaxing thing for me. I would sit on the couch. I'd just read like at least 1 or 2 every single day.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it felt like it was good for me. I know it wasn't doing anything for me really, but
Well, it's a lot of people say reading is good for
It's
you.
true.
Like it expands your mind and your vocabulary and stuff like that. But I always joke that the only time I read is like video game text.
Yeah.
Like old RPGs and stuff like that. I would play those till the sun came home. But just
yeah, but now it's just me always being like, oh, I should get into that again. I'm like, you know what? Now each day I should just go back and read 1 more manga every single day, just for like a fun kind of thing. But then I don't. I do something else instead. I watch an episode of anime instead.
Yeah.
I watch TV instead. I watch YouTube instead, something like that.
Yeah,
but every day I tell myself I should.
Yeah,
That's
it's very easy
fair.
to
I
go
should
down
get
different
back into it as
tangents.
a hobby. Other than that, we'll skip over that. Actually, I'm interested. This isn't even on my magical paper. Subbed versus dubbed. What anime do you think is better dubbed than subbed?
Excel Saga.
Okay.
I still haven't watched that one actually.
I haven't seen it
Pedro
either, so I
Pedro
can't
is one
judge.
of my favorite characters ever, and he's the only character that I can say for certain is better like in English and than dubbed or than
Okay.
sub. Sorry, there are ones that are really close. Like I prefer Spike Spiegel in dubbed. I think his voice actor is
Yeah.
fantastic. His subbed still great. Don't get me wrong, it's good still, but like it all depends on the time. Like there's some shows I love more.
But early 2000s anime, there's a pretty good chance you're getting Greg Ayers in there.
I fucking hate Greg Ayers. I will die on this
What's his
hill.
brother's name? His brother's also a
I can't
voice
remember.
actor. Something else Ayers.
Is he just as bad?
No.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know.
My go-to is
Voiced
always
Negima, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
my go-tos are always Death Note.
Yep, that's a good one.
Really good. Full Metal Alchemist, obviously.
Good.
The big thing about Full Metal Alchemist, as I always explain to people, is that they're not Japanese.
Oh, they're German.
They are German. So it's something that makes sense, especially with all the English names. Like, is there a single character in that with a Japanese name other than once you get into Brotherhood, they have like the Chinese characters?
Yeah, but even that's not.
Yeah, but like it's just especially
You mean Roy?
Ryu.
Ryu.
But inside the subbed, it's also the very traditional thing of young boys being voice acted by girls because I guess the men can't do it. And Edward Elric, he just sounds so much better in dubbed compared to his like
I
young
forgot a
subbed.
big one.
What's your big one?
Dragon Ball Z is much better in dubbed than
It
sub.
is, yes, because
Oh
once
my
same
God.
thing.
Goku is voiced by
a
an
woman.
85-year-old woman. All right, she might be 90. Never
So
mind.
She's
one-
up there.
Yeah.
So one I grew up on, for instance, is Naruto dubbed.
Yep.
Naruto subbed is way better. It's also an 85-year-old woman who
will
like
agree.
voices Naruto.
There are some characters I like better in sub than
Oh, there is
than
like
dubbed.
like Kakashi. I
But
can never remember the actual
Naruto?
voice actor, but
Believe it.
yeah.
Oh God.
They're especially Shippuden as they get older, the people can change their voice up a little bit to make them actually sound more adult because an adult having to pretend to be a child is always kind of difficult.
I like Hinata. Her English voice is adorable.
Yeah, it's like that cute classic Japanese thing. Where,
Yeah.
it's a very standard character.
It's Dorbs.
What was another big one for me? Black Lagoon. Same voice
Black
actor as
Lagoon?
Light Young Me on the Rock.
Revy's
I'm not
so
gonna lie,
good.
I can't even stand it in sub. It
Yeah,
just doesn't
it-
sound right.
Yeah, swearing, for instance, is very English. Like
Well,
who swears
the
more than
amount-
English people?
Yeah.
Have you watched the count on that? There's a count on YouTube, and it's
fuck
like
count?
the F count, and I'm pretty sure it hits in like the 200s.
It's basically
high.
punctuation at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And it's 90%.
Revy.
Yeah, like almost all of it.
Yeah.
Good old. I love Revy. She's great.
What else is a really good? What else do I like dubbed more than subbed? There's something else in the back of my mind.
Oh, there will be. One that's close, and I don't actually mind it in English, is actually My Hero.
I've been watching
My
this.
Hero's actually like not awful.
So
Yeah. They did
There's
a really
some
good job
characters
with it.
again.
I have
I mean,
the,
there's always going to be those one or two. but
yeah, I have the Funimation app recently because I've only ever seen My Hero all the way through one time.
Yep.
Like from start to finish. So I decided it was a good time to rewatch like the first, second, third season kind of thing. But this time I'll watch it all dubbed. And there are some voice actors that do a really good job, and then there's like a few characters where I'm like,
Like Bakugo's good, Midoriya's good, like All Might's fantastic. It's just Jiraiya, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of good ones, but I would expect that from something that's so popular, like one of the biggest anime
Yeah.
kind of thing.
They're gonna bring out the big guns.
You'd hope, yeah, they do their absolute best. I still hate Grape Juice, but I guess you're supposed to hate him, so maybe that's part of it.
yeah.
But do you like Naval Laser?
Yeah, his character also tries to do the French thing a lot, so it makes sense in English.
Mm,
Like
okay.
he always tries to do like the French
Mon
words.
ami, oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
it makes a little more sense in English
Okay,
actually.
all right, that's funny. Okay,
Yeah. So next we're gonna finally get into the big one, which is anime culture.
it's fucking dank.
The first thing, okay,
one way to put it.
what's a very standard anime culture word?
Weeb.
Weeb.
What does weeb describe?
Someone who doesn't know when to stop talking about
Yeah,
anime.
it's someone who goes a little too far, which you get a lot of.
Like people who Naruto run on purpose.
Like Naruto running at Area 51, like that kind of. So the first thing I actually want to talk about is the good. So let's talk about the good aspect of anime culture. I think it makes you a more open person.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's like the exception of the rule kind of thing. But in general, I feel like watching anime as a kid made me way more open to a lot of things. You know, I don't consider myself, racist, homophobic, anything like that. Especially watching anime. Obviously, there's some things in anime I can't get behind, and we'll get into that once we get into the bad.
Yeah.
But in general, though, since there's so many different types and there's so many different varieties of characters, and I feel like it's always so funny how in like Japan, they're still behind in a lot of ways and stuff like that with acceptance and stuff. But in animes, it's like they're forward somehow.
Yeah, they also in Japan they do not like the term otaku.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like,
can't
It
blame
is
them.
derogatory.
Yeah, it is a derogatory. Like
Yeah.
here, it's just another word for an anime person, but there it's much worse.
Yeah, in a sense for them too. I'm sure part of it's they take it as like a cultural appropriation kind of thing.
It has something to do with a killer, if I remember correctly, why they don't like it as well. I can't fact check this,
Listen,
so I
if I was
apologize.
a serial
in
killer,
advance.
I'd go by the otaku killer.
It's exactly. It's like the Zodiac killer, but
Beat people to death with statues.
I feel a lot of it
Little
probably
anime
is,
figures.
the real waifu.
I feel like a lot of it probably is like culture appropriation kind of thing. Like it's obviously a lot of white people are otakus, and a lot of them are trying to take Asian culture, and it gets a little cringy when you see it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's freaking. Oh god, what is it? When an English person starts trying to speak Japanese a lot.
A Japanese.
I just
No, there's a term for it.
Oh,
I
I
just
can't
think
think of
weeb. That's all I can think about.
Yeah.
But like in general though, like when we go to something like Anime North, you feel extremely
Accepted.
accepted. Yeah, you can do the dumbest crap. You can be as weeby as you want.
You can walk up to someone in full costume, quote their show, and like do a stupid pose. And you know what they're gonna do? Go, yeah, stupid pose again, and they'll pose
Unless
stupid
it's
with you.
BM
Yeah.
doing it,
Unless
because
it's
then they're weirded out.
Yeah, but if I walk up and I'd be like Naruto and they do like the shadow clone jutsu, he's gonna most likely do the shadow clone jutsu. Like he's
It's
not gonna be
true.
like, oh look at that fucking weeb. Like they're not gonna say.
I
that.
just think with the such the variety of anime too, it just makes everybody I know who watches anime, I feel like is pretty open, pretty accepting person for the most part. So there's a good aspect of it, and it's a community, right?
Oh yeah.
You feel safe, Especially Anime North, you drop your wallet with $300 cash, someone's picking that up and bringing it to you.
yeah.
It's like you're in like a group where they're like, I can't steal from a fellow weeb.
They're like, this guy needs to buy his waifu statue. I can't do that.
It's always so funny seeing like the regular people drive by the convention too.
Just
And
staring.
they're
It's like,
yeah, they're like looking at
Cocked
it
as
like,
they're driving
what
past.
is this?
where are we?
I love the Anime North test when you're coming down Airport Road and you're like,
You're like, how close are we?
what is it going to be? And how long are we going to see a costume and what's it going to be? And you're like, it's Hatsune Miku this year. And like you drive up and boom, there's a guy dressed in a Hatsune Miku costume. And you're like, I called it. I win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I mean, there's a lot more about the good parts of it, but it's much more fun to talk about the bad parts of it.
Yeah. It's really cringy sometimes.
It's really cringy. Otakus in general, as I said, if you make your entire personality about your hobbies, it sometimes goes a little too far.
Yeah. It's very easy to overextend.
As I said, when you meet someone and you can instantly tell that they're an anime fan, it's probably because they already immediately told you, or they have their hentai shirt on.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
they're wearing their Ahikao shirt.
Yeah, there's something cool about it in a sense where if you're an anime fan, you could be like, oh, maybe I can talk to that person now. Like I can just assume they like it and go up and talk about it kind of
Yeah.
thing. But in the real world, it doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a barrier. Like, there's one thing, like, for instance, your Full Metal Alchemist tattoo.
Yes.
That's a very subtle symbol that someone might pick up on.
Yeah, most people won't notice it.
Yeah, like my
Some people
shirt.
might.
Yeah.
Nobody would be like, "Oh, that's Weeb
Buzzswole.
shirt. That's Buzzswole."
Exactly.
Yeah, I got that from Pokemon.
Yeah, on the other hand, if you're walking around in a full Ahegao tracksuit,
Yeah, people notice that, and it's,
Did you? I have to send it to you. There's a car, and it's all the Ahegao thing
God.
all over the car,
I've
and he
seen
starts
that.
like burning out in front of a cop, and the cop like smacks the car, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And it just made me laugh. It was great.
I mean, I'm gonna get into some of the main bad things about anime. A lot of over sexualization
of children.
yeah.
of children.
Oh, yeah.
Of siblings. Just in general, like even of full-grown adults.
Yeah,
you
there's-
sometimes you got to think that just those Japanese people are just horny as shit. Like,
They want to fuck.
yeah,
That's
there's a
it.
lot of, like, I want to bang my sister, bang my cousin. It's like, okay.
it's that point where you're like,
Hey, cousins in there. That for Japan, cousins are all right. That's
but
the.
I'm going to say we make fun of Alabama for it. I'm going to make fun of Japan for it.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's true.
That's fair.
We
You
did
know, he's
quote-
being an open person.
Yeah,
we did
that's-
make fun of Alabama before.
Yeah, we did make fun of.
Yeah, it's the thing where like you're watching an anime and you're like, I like this anime a lot. It's got, you know, fantastic voice acting, beautiful art style, like the story's fantastic, and then it's like, oh, but like there's a lot of ecchi scenes. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I can kind of deal with the ecchi scenes. Like I'll just like,
Do you want to know the show that weirded me out recently?
what?
Made in Abyss.
Why?
I didn't like the main characters were naked all the time. They're kids.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
I think they tried to do that in more like a realistic sense though, instead of like a perverted kind of sense.
Yeah, no, didn't like it.
No?
It made me dislike the show. And I know a lot of people fucking love that show. I'm sitting there going, how did this beat out My Hero for top anime of the year?
I got to say, that's kind of putting a pin in me watching it again.
See, I didn't look at it like that at all. I think that like, for the most part, if there was an anime, I'm even taking something like Gundam Seed is one of the ones I like.
And I finished the show just to I didn't
like, do you know two characters get stuck on like an island in Gundam Seed, and there's a part where like they're not wearing very many clothes because like the crash and stuff like that, but it wasn't sexualized in any way.
Yeah.
No.
So you're like, okay, that's completely acceptable.
Yeah.
But then there's so many anime where like they literally have to zoom in on like a boob jiggle or the panties. It's like it's
Yeah.
a very standard.
They'll just be having like a normal.
Or the girl running
Conversation.
down the street, they bonk,
Yeah.
and then there's underwear in his face.
And then the
you're
guy
like,
makes
yeah.
a weird face, and then there's like a
the
sound
steam
effect.
comes out, yeah.
Nosebleeds.
The nosebleeds.
Like that's the bad, but it's like, you know, it doesn't ruin an anime. You can kind of just ignore that.
No,
or, like,
I've
keep
liked
watching.
shows that are like.
There are different degrees of it, right?
I just
Yeah.
didn't like the character design. It made them look much younger than but is it done by the Madoka team?
I have no idea.
It looks like a Madoka team.
I feel like it is. It has a very similar style.
And I didn't like Madoka as well because they're too young to be super gory and stuff like that. So I think that's what just turned me off of the show is just like
Yeah.
seeing that girl being stabbed by the monster, and I was like, no, that's good, cool.
Yeah. The one thing, so even if we could all kind of get over that, the amount of ecchi and stuff like that, then there's the overless sexualization of children or young people.
yeah.
As an adult, maybe if I was watching that when I was 15, I wouldn't care. But as an adult, when you go back and watch it, a lot of anime, you know, I actually like anime a lot when it's focused on college kids or beyond, like
Yeah.
someone who are more
Or like
adult.
last year high school, like that's almost
Yeah.
fine, but I
A
like
lot of it
the-
starts around people in like their 14, like they're like first grade of high school, their second grade of high school, and then there's a lot of overless sexualization in that. But obviously, in 99% of anime, it doesn't go anywhere. That's
Yeah,
just
it's
how
just-
it works.
Shot here, shot there, and then.
Yeah, but still, the overless section of young people, and then the one step worse, which would be then the over sexualization of siblings.
Yeah,
What, like, where did that stem from?
I don't know.
Because I've seen a lot of ones, even back in the day of.
Oran High School Club had Hikaru and Kaoru, and they were
It's
like
true.
like they weren't, but
But
Yeah.
that's
they
actually
were.
that's a play on the fact that Japanese people like that.
yeah, I
though.
know,
Yeah,
but
that
like
it was drawing
it's
out a
just weird.
trope. It
I don't know
wasn't-
why. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, I almost accept that more because even as someone who's North American though, or even if you look at just like sexualization in North America, to fully adult twin sisters kind of thing, that could be over sexualized too. and
Oh,
that-
absolutely.
that's completely normal.
Twins, Basil, twins. Like
yeah,
from-
exactly. Like that's normal. But it's the classic, like the male who's like 16, 17. He's got like the 10-year-old sister who's like in love with him. and-
Toothbrush.
Yeah,
Oh,
or the like
God.
the what's
I
the
just forgot about that. God damn it.
what's like the Orisuki? Is that what it's called? Like the my sister cannot be this cute.
Oremo.
Where it literally ends with them getting married.
Yeah.
And they're not like half siblings. I think they're full on.
Do you know the one I'm talking about? Though?
I do,
The
yes, with
creepy
the-
toothbrush?
like holding her
Issei-
down.
Was it Issei Monogatari?
Yeah,
Or,
too much for me.
I don't know where it stemmed from, and it can literally just destroy. And the weird part is I've seen a lot of these animes.
Yeah.
So I know I'm making fun of it. Like, why would you watch that? But then I've seen a lot of them because like some of them have like a lot of like it's like 90% really funny.
We talked about Girls Bravo. There's
it's
some
true.
dank shit in that.
The recent ones were like Manga Sensei.
oh,
Did you watch
yeah.
that one?
I got like 5 episodes in. I think I got to the little girl who said I love dicks. I'm like, nope, and just
See,
stopped
so that
watching.
one was a little bit. That one was actually more acceptable for me. It was a little more funny because it wasn't really.
It was like an adopted sister.
It
right?
wasn't really as big of a relationship with the main character either. There's like all the. It's a classic harem, obviously,
yeah,
or
the classic. Yeah,
They're all 12.
that's fair.
But then there's the other one. It almost the exact same plot. It was like the writer one. With the
writer one?
Yeah, it's like the basically it's almost exactly like that. Manga Sensei is but the brother who's a writer and the sister who's the illustrator, but it's like a very ecchi series. So the sister, even though she's like 12, just draws like nude girls and all that kind of stuff and sex scenes.
Perfect.
The other one is the one where the sister is the writer of a light novel series, but the male pretends to be the writer, and it's a sister, and that one's also really
don't
weird.
think I saw that one.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
doesn't
My
sound
Sister,
familiar.
My Writer, or something like that.
Oh, I think I heard that. Saw the Arrow manga.
Yeah.
Senpai flags fly. Just like no.
Manga Sensei was much more comedy, and there's like a little bit of that kind of stuff thrown in, but then this one was much worse.
Well, there's that really weird one, the Interspecies Reviewer or whatever.
Oh, the one that's airing now, right?
I've been watching that.
I'm
It's
not
pretty
gonna lie.
fucked, man. I
But
haven't watched it yet. Is it on Crunchyroll?
I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's
though.
on-
it's
no,
not.
No. Oh, it's online
That's
only.
some Kiss anime shit.
Okay.
And I've been watching it uncensored.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
literally just hentai at this point.
so it's like Monster
it
Musume, but worse.
It's worse.
It's literally like it's 1 pixel away from the hentai line.
It's
somehow
worse.
they
I've
made.
seen- I think I
nice.
saw the first 4 episodes. When it's not being super weird, it has like a lot of funny humor.
Yeah.
But then when it's like
so it's an anime I shouldn't watch. Okay.
You could probably watch just a supercut with all the really ecchi scenes cut out. It'd be pretty
Yeah,
good.
but where's the fun, Jimmy?
for people that are watching this and aren't weirded out yet, it is literally a plot about like a classic fantasy world with like hundreds of different races, types of people,
Fairies and shit, yeah.
demons, all that kind of stuff. But the world basically runs around a system where like brothels are extremely accepted, and there's one or multiple for every single race. And the main characters have like a group that go in, have sex with these people, and then write a review on them so everybody knows.
It's how they make their money. It's
There's like very, very small aspect of sometimes like isekai, or maybe they go out and fight one monster and then they go to like 6 brothels. One of them is like a meat place where it's like a salamander lady.
Okay.
She looks like a normal
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
She's so hot they cook their meat on her and then they have sex with her. It's like, who thought of this?
Somebody, a
there's
very
some-
sad person.
there's
Who's
some
out
very
there
depraved
like
people.
Yes, I got it.
I'm a genius. But it's being dropped from a lot of TV channel like shows in Japan.
I wonder
Yes,
why.
A
obviously.
new, as of today, a new station actually picked it up, so it is airing in Japan again.
Because it is going to make money. It's just,
I'm
do you want to be
positive it's got a
tied to
big
that
cult
money?
That's
following,
dirty
too.
money. You don't want to be tied to dirty money.
Oh yeah.
The humor is actually really most humor you can always tell between like anime humor. It's very, I don't know, it's very Eastern humor kind of thing compared to like
Yeah.
it's not always what we're gonna find funny in like the West.
It's a lot of joke and retort type stuff.
Yeah, but this I find is much more Western humor, like kind of like the humor you'd see on a lot of like shows we watch, something like that, but in
Okay.
an anime. But then obviously it's extremely over sexualized.
Yes.
And like it's once again it has all those type of things other than sibling. I haven't seen anything about siblings so far, but there are specific places where they're like fairies like this big, or there's like people that look like young girls. It's a lot of weird classic anime
Yeah.
shit.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it anymore, boys.
If anything, I'll show you. I'll just send you some really funny clips if I see
Oh,
any.
okay, sure.
That's the best way
Send
to
me
do
the
it.
memes. The
Yeah,
memes.
just because there's going to be a lot of memes from that
Oh, yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching it, it was more the same attitude you have when you were looking at like a train wreck or something. You just want to see what's gonna happen next.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
you know that you're like, why am I watching this? It's not good, and every episode's the same. But you're like, but I guess I'll watch the next one.
Okay, I've had shows like that.
Which boundary
Yeah.
are they gonna cross next?
Yeah, it's like, what can they possibly do in the next episode?
It all started, man. It all started with Goblin Slayer, man.
That's true. The Goblin Slayer kind of hit people fast with that, and then nothing really happened
Do you know
again.
what episode I stopped watching? One.
I kept watching.
It's the same as Elfen Lied. It's got the shock value at the start, and then if you get past that, there's
Yeah,
nothing
but
worse
Elfen
than that.
Lied had
I'm a little-
violent shock, not rapé shock.
I mean, Elfen Lied did have Rappe's shot later.
Yeah, it did,
There's a lot
but-
of the naked ladies.
Yeah,
too.
but they have cool invisible
I don't
arms.
say I'm a little fucked. I just like seeing how far anime will go sometimes.
You're a fucked human being, bud.
But something like
Yeah.
Goblin Slayer though is literally after the first episode. Oh, that was a pretty stunning first episode. I'm not gonna say it's good. I won't say it's bad. It was just not what I was
It
expecting.
hooked your interest.
But yeah, then after that, it was pretty boring throughout the rest.
It made it really hard for me to watch the slime one.
Oh yeah, where there was
Where all
like
the
yeah,
goblins are
friendly
like,
goblins.
we're happy people. I'm
That's
like, no,
true.
you're not. You're all rapists. Like, and it was.
So I
pretty
think
rough.
that this quickly transitioned from the bad to also the weird.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
What's some of the weirdest stuff in anime? Isn't there a newer anime where it's like statues that form a boy band?
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
that's weird.
There's Japan's leaders being reincarnated as dogs.
Yeah.
There's
What's the oh shit?
Japan has like 20 different series that revolve
Pop
around
Team Epic?
like Nobunaga, or his name is.
Pop Team Epic. Did you watch that?
I don't think so.
No, it's got the like tall girl with the. It's like weird anime.
Yeah, it's got. Oh, yeah, I know. that one.
But have you ever watched an episode of it?
I watched
It's random
one.
as shit. Like,
yeah, it
it's,
is.
there's not a concisive story. It's more like.
Robot Chicken.
It's anime Robot Chicken. Thank you. That's actually really, really good. It's anime Robot Chicken. Like they'll cut to, and then just the small one looks at you and has like a super manly voice, like the like super deep.
If you want
voice.
the shortest episodes like to watch and be like, what's going on? Do you remember the one about the girl who doesn't talk?
there's a couple of those.
That like
Yeah.
short anime. It was like only like a minute each one. It was just about there was like the one girl. One of the episodes was literally just about her like smacking her thighs the entire time to hear like the sound.
Oh, my God, yes.
And then it's just like so much weird stuff, and you're like, why?
There's the other one where the boy doesn't talk and he's
At
in
the
class.
desk?
Yeah, and he's like
Yeah.
making like super epic chisels and all that shit. And
Yeah.
that was a good one. I like that one.
Even earlier when we talked about something like a Kikan, it's not that weird compared to regular anime, but that was one of the first ones I watched, and I was like,
It's
who
one of
the
those things.
hell made this?
Yeah, who came up with this idea?
Inuyasha's pretty fucking weird.
yeah.
There's a girl who controls people's hair and like makes a weird hair cocoon.
I liked her.
Yura, she was cool.
Yeah.
She was
And
cool.
you know, Inuyasha's like a dog who has like a
Sit,
collar
boy.
on. Yeah. I wonder what that. I never actually thought about watching that show and subbed.
I feel like it wouldn't
What's
be as
it
good.
like?
Yo!
I liked Richard Cox actually. Even
He was
I
good.
heard he was like a dick in real life,
I heard that too.
but I mean, he did
Jess
a good Inuyasha
was like
voice.
infatuated with him until she
She
found out
saw
what he
him
looked
in
like.
real life.
It's kind of like
Story of everyone's life with anime.
Benjamin. No, H. Oh, fuck, H. John Benjamin. What the fuck's his name?
You're thinking of Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John
Oh,
H.
yeah.
Benjamin. Yeah, I
think so.
Yeah, he doesn't
And
look anything
He
like you
looks
picture.
like he sounds like he's gonna be the most suave dude, and then he's just some like big bald fuck.
Well, just watch Bob's Burgers, then try and picture him, and then
Yeah, that's
that's
a
a
little
more
more likely.
accurate. What were some of the big ones other than people like Troy Baker, Johnny Young Bosch? Those people
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like just another voice actor we just pointed. And then you look up Troy Baker, like, oh, wait a minute, he's just all of his other characters.
he's hot.
Yeah, he's one of the suave ones, and Nolan North, a lot
Yeah.
of the popular ones.
I like Nolan North.
They're
He's
not
good.
as big in
Laura
anime.
Bailey. She's a big anime gal.
That's true.
Yeah.
She is big anime.
Yeah, she's good.
Liam O'Brien.
I like Liam
We
O'Brien.
can just name off the Critical Role.
Yeah, I was
cast.
gonna
good.
say
Yeah,
we're just going
yeah.
down that
They're
list
all
now. Like Travis
Matt
Willingham.
Mercer, Travis Willingham.
Oh shit, what's Todd Habercorn? He's good too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
all those
hilarious.
Watch Mojos these days.
He's on the Watch Mojos a
Yeah,
lot.
he's Natsu from Fairy Tail.
He is Natsu from Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
He's a lot of people.
And I'm gonna piss off Birch. I'm gonna say I never hated Greg Ayers. So
He was a character in most animes that I hated.
he's always the character you hate, but I didn't hate him.
I hated his voice.
See, because it was a character I was supposed to hate. I like that voice.
Yeah,
on
but he
him.
was Negima. You're not supposed to hate Negima.
I think you kind of were.
No.
Was he the friend in Welcome to the NHK?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I did hate him in that one
Yeah.
too.
Like,
Negima, you're supposed to like. I think the idea is you're supposed to want to take the place of the kid, almost.
You want that to be?
'Cause
You
it's
want
very-
to be Greg
I
Ayers?
don't want to be Greg Ayers, man. I don't.
No. You're watching it all wrong.
No, he was enough that sometimes he might have been the reason I switched to subbed. Like, I might have heard him and said, nope,
You're like,
changing.
nope, I'm subbed guy now.
Yeah.
I'm traditional.
I mean, I was the other way. I preferred the English voice to the Japanese because it was a 85-year-old woman voicing a 12-year-old kid again.
Yeah, but
classic.
at least I didn't have somebody that kind of sounded like chalkboard nails.
Yeah, that was.
I can think of his voice so clearly in my head.
But I can't duplicate it.
No, you can't duplicate it, but you
I
can
hear it,
picture
and it
it.
hurts me to hear.
He played like a side character in History's Strongest Disciple, Kenichi.
I love that show.
And I just always think about his character in that because he was so annoying.
Yep.
But I guess that's just him and
Up,
everything.
up, up.
So this actually isn't on, but it's going to lead into the next one. Favorite genre of anime, typically, Or what are some big ones?
Fantasy for me, like very much swords, like
Like isekai these days?
no, like basilisk. For me, like that style, like swords and shit is mine. I really liked. I think it was Mamabro. It was the girl with the spear. I'm gonna fuck up the name. You've probably seen it. It's a girl with a spear, and she's protecting the prince. They're convinced the prince is dead, but she's actually just protecting him. No,
I think I know what one you're talking
okay.
about.
No, it's really good. You should watch it. But that's my style. Like if I see an anime on Crunchyroll, if it has swords, usually I'm that
Or spear guys.
spear guys are my favorite.
Or what was the other really good one? The history based one about the island when it was being taken over. You know what I'm talking about? The one their games also.
Oh,
in
the
same
Ghost
place.
of Tsushima one.
Yeah, like I don't know what the anime was called.
I can't think of it. What
It was
it's
like
called.
Mongoloid something.
Yeah, it
or
was.
had
It was good. It was good.
It was good.
I'm in the process of catching up on the Viking one. It's pretty cool.
Oh, Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
I fully finished that one.
But like I said, if I was to pick a genre that only one, it would be fantasy for the most part. Like that fantasy. Isekai's okay, but
Isekai has gone a little far.
Isekai has two different types. There's ones that actually have a story that need to be told, and there's ones that
All the like cell phone, smartphone, and
just that
Like,
he's super powerful, he fucks shit up, he gets a bunch of bitches.
we were talking about ones we watched just to finish it. The cell phone one I watched just to finish it.
yeah,
You are a braver man
I
than
felt
me.
too deep in, so I kept going.
And then the last episode is just like, oh, he's supposed to have a harem of 11 girls. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's only 5 here. And then,
the
so
much better version of the cell phone one, I've had to put a direct comparison, would be the Death March.
yeah, that was good.
One that was like that, but more believable.
Like
and, better.
Konosuba's good.
Yeah,
I
Konosuba
like
was specifically a parody.
No,
right?
Konosuba's not good.
You don't like it for the same reason I don't like it. But Grimgar was fantastic.
Did you ever watch Grimgar?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
It was good.
so good.
Yeah, it was an amazing.
But
show.
it got
Sinatra was.
bamboozled because Konosuba did better.
They
So,
came out
of
like the
course.
same year, and Konosuba was such a hit, and that one wasn't. So,
Yeah, I mean comedy versus gritty, dark.
For the
Yeah.
most part, always.
so
wins.
if you had to pick a genre,
I hate myself seeing what I just said, but I tend to lean towards slice of life and comedy.
Slice of Life's my second. but-
when you see that you don't get as many good ones these days, I find
There's a lot of trash to film.
compared to some of the real classics.
The one where he wanted to confess his love to the one girl, but she confessed it
Or
to her
Suki.
friend.
No,
No, to the friend or whatever.
Oh,
yeah, that was Orisuke, wasn't it?
Or
Where he
Suki.
keeps going on the bench.
Yes.
Yeah, that
that
was
was
hilarious.
Orisuke.
That was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, you said it when you were talking about Or Rainbow. Or
Yes,
which
that's
is
what I was
completely
thinking.
different.
Quintessential quintuplets.
I
was
love
good.
that. And I heard season 2 is supposed to be
Yeah, it
starting
just
soon.
got confirmed.
just announced
it,
yeah.
I think April. It's supposed to start.
That's one of those ones where you would think that it's stupid, or if I was explaining it to someone, they'd be like, "That isn't that what you talked about earlier, but over sexualization."
I will
of
let you
young
know.
girls
It
and-
is stupid, but
yeah,
it's
but
great.
there's like, it's not over sexualized.
Yeah, it's very much on the interaction.
I want more of the shit. What was it called? The girlfriend. That had the really epic intro.
Domestic girlfriend.
Domestic girlfriend.
That was a ride.
That was.
I still haven't watched it because of all the things we mentioned earlier.
I was on an emotional roller coaster. No, but to be fair, the kid is like almost 18 or like 18.
It wants to bang his stepsisters,
But neither of
and
them-
his teacher.
Well, his
Sister is-
sister is his.
Yeah,
teacher.
exactly.
But to be fair, that's different though. That would be the same story that we tell like in like I was about to say American. I mean, I guess American television about like they're not related at all.
No.
You know? It's happened in many TV shows where like he's like a full adult, they're already grown adults, and your parents kind of marry in.
It's not often that the show starts with the two main characters just boning.
Yeah, Andy
Yeah,
had sex before.
it does
they
subvert.
came in. But like emotional roller coaster,
It
lots of
was-
ups and downs in that show.
It was way better than it should have been, but the theme song was honestly the hook. The theme song started, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
But like yeah, those
I will
kind
finish it
of.
one
If
day.
you've seen like Real Life, I really liked
I
Real Life.
didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's-
didn't like it.
Why? It's so good.
Okay, it's the same reason I had trouble finishing Melancholy of Haru Suzumiya season 2 or
I was
whatever.
gonna say the only reason anyone had trouble with that was getting through the endless.
The
eight or
repeat
whatever it
episodes.
was.
Yeah.
I had a hard time watching the same thing slightly different. Same thing, slightly different. I gotta
Yeah.
figure it out. Oh, I died again. Okay, I figured it out. Oh,
No,
I
no,
died
no,
again.
I think you're thinking of Erase.
Yeah, no, he's thinking of
RE0.
Yeah, I'm talking
Oh,
Real Life,
ReZero.
the one where the guy,
Oh, shit,
as a
okay,
grown adult, gets the pill that turns him into a high schooler again to try his life again.
Oh, okay, I have not seen that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should
Sorry,
see it.
I don't like the other one because
Yeah.
it drives me nuts.
I do actually like that, but I understand what you're talking about.
ReZero gets better the further you go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the same people. Black Clover gets better the further
Don't
you
listen to
go.
those people; they're wrong.
I actually like.
Can't handle Asta.
He tones it down after the first season.
Does he still stop yelling?
No.
Yes.
No, he doesn't.
Does he stop yelling?
Like he still has a yell, but it's not the yell from the first season.
Is he doing this?
But let me pitch the real life one
Okay,
for you. Okay,
show me one shonen where they don't do that.
That's true. They do typically have main characters who yell a lot.
Yeah, but not at the end of every sentence. It's like he can't talk normally.
Yes, they get rid of that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's
well,
part
then
of his
maybe I'll watch
powers.
it.
So real life though is about like a 28-year-old male who, he was supposed to be a successful going to the system, a classic like Japanese businessman.
Businessman, yeah.
But he like quit his job and now he's kind of like on the outs kind of thing. And then a guy comes up and gives him the offer of going back to high school to try it again.
Yeah.
It's like a program to get people back in and make them more successful to stop them from becoming neats. And
Is this new season or new show or?
a couple years ago.
Oh shit!
I
Okay.
think it's like 2 years
A couple
ago.
OVAs out. It's on
I've been pretty
Crunchyroll.
bad. It is okay. Well,
But it's
maybe I'll
very
watch
good.
it.
It's like he goes to high school. He has to like make friends with people that are younger than him, but like there's no over sexualization.
Oh.
He has like beer and smokes in his apartment when people are coming over. He's like, oh, and then his teacher gets mad at him for having smokes, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
pretty
it
good.
is. It's like 11 episodes, but
Oh,
it was one of the
okay.
slice of life ones I really liked
That's
a
a
lot
day
recently.
binger. That's a day binger.
Because a lot of
Yeah.
it goes into like neats is a Japanese term only.
Welcome to the NHK.
I mean,
Yeah.
Owen sounds filled with them.
Yeah. What is it? Not employed, educating, or trading?
Something like
Yeah.
that. But Owen Sound has tons of them. But like we don't call them that there.
We call it trash.
It's the same connotation.
But
Yeah.
it's a fun like kind of question is like can you like go if you went back could you change these people, like was there one thing that went wrong or is it just how they are, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's fun.
it's like Erased was good too. But
One of my favorite genres are sports
I knew.
anime.
we knew this was coming. This is
Had
not
to
a
be different.
surprise.
Haikyuu I think is one of the best anime ever. You'd have to
I'll disagree, but I know it's like people like it. So
I
like,
would-
It has
for me-
hype.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
guarantee, and the thing is, it's kind of like there's a lot of different things you could argue this for. I would guarantee that if you watched the first season,
I'm halfway through the first season.
you could not stop watching it.
I did.
No, if you finished the first season, I bet you there was no way in the world.
You want me to put that to the test?
Yeah, I would like you to.
Okay.
But then honestly, you got to
I
like
will
realistically
stop.
watch and think about this. Big, do I want to keep watching this?
It will be a no.
It'll be a yes.
It'll be no. I'm standard as fuck.
If you watch anything on the show, the beauty of the show is actually season 2. As a lot, there's like
So you're telling me I'm wasting my time watching season 1?
no, because season 1's fantastic and has really good opening.
You're the type of people who's like, oh, it gets great at episode 100 for One Piece, and I'm like, I'm not watching
It did get
100
pretty good at
episodes of
episode
One Piece.
100.
Oh crap! I started episode 80 on One Piece.
Yeah.
But sports anime has this like this hype level.
Yeah.
You've seen it before in like Kuroko's basketball.
See,
for
I like that
instance.
one.
Kuroko's basketball is special, but in a very different way than Haikyuu.
It's just
Haikyuu
Naruto with sports.
Haikyuu is much more realistic.
Yeah, I don't want
But there's that like companionship, the camaraderie, that kind of stuff, and it gets you like more hyped than like watching a Goku punch through a cell or something like that.
Goku.
When Bulma kicks him.
But I don't know. I've seen Baby Steps. It's a tennis one. I've seen a one called All Out, which was a rugby one. Haikyuu volleyball.
Ice Shield 21.
I haven't actually. No, I don't like the art style that much.
I didn't watch it.
Kuroko's
Yeah.
basketball. You know, there's like a lot of
Yeah.
different ones.
I'm really shocked you haven't mentioned Free.
Free, which is a swimming one. Free is not nearly as good as most of the other ones. It's just like
It's pretty.
it is very
Yeah.
nice. It's like a thing for us, though, right? You know, it's like a culture for.
You know,
our
it was a
group.
meme, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. though.
Everyone's just like, why are there so many animes where boys are like, or where girls are super hot? Where's our boy one? And then they made Free.
I know, but that's what we're about, though. We are free now. We've accepted it.
Yeah,
It's part
hey,
of life.
I watched the first season. It was
True.
okay.
Second season's okay too.
Oh god, there's a second season now.
Of course there is. I'm pretty sure there's a movie.
There's a
coming out.
third season, bud. That's the
Oh.
new season that came out recently.
Oh,
I
okay.
knew there was a movie, but
Classic.
So going off that, this one will be a little shorter. Favorite anime. Obviously, sometimes picking favorites is hard.
That's rough.
Just think of
Yeah.
what your favorite anime is. Who'd like to start?
I'm going 2 because screw you. Cowboy Bebop and Trigun.
I see. No, we're not gonna get into this. If BM was on here, he'd get mad at me. I don't actually like Trigun.
That's fair.
I tried to explain it to him in a sense where I explained like I didn't dislike it. Like I watched the whole thing, but to me it was kind of like Pokemon, where every episode was like formulaic. It was like, oh, you know, a bad guy appears in town.
Yeah,
Vash
that's-
comes in. They don't know he's tough. He's tough. He beats them.
It's a spaghetti western. It's
Yeah.
every spaghetti western ever is. Guy comes into town, he looks like a weak piece of shit, but then he's a badass. It's every
But
single
every
spaghetti
time me
western
and
ever.
BM always get in an argument where I say that even though I still liked it, it's not my favorite. I liked it, but I don't think it's good. But I liked it. He always gets in arguments with me.
Yeah, he's very much like that because like I'd actually put Trigun towards the top of my list as well.
It's fantastic.
But
I
I
only
prefer
like Wolfwood.
Wolfwood's great.
Yeah, I prefer Wolfwood to Vash.
And spoiler, he died, so I stopped caring.
Okay.
And I hated freaking
spoiler
Knives.
warning, by the way.
Knives is bad. Yeah, Knives. That's the
Knives
last.
is a little too
Because
much.
Yeah.
what was the other guy's name? Because he was tough as nails.
Legato.
Yes,
Yeah.
Legato was cool, and then he wasn't even the main bad guy.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, but
I like
Stupid
Meryl.
Knives.
yeah, everyone liked Meryl.
Did you know Young Knives was actually voiced in the dub by the same guy who did Tai from Digimon?
I did know that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember why, but
No, I just learned that. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a useless fact. Thanks, Cam.
Yeah.
So favorite anime, Jimothy?
Honestly, I'd probably put Trigun in close second, but for me, this is going to be a really weird one. I don't think either
When
of
they
you have watched.
cry,
You know what? If you'd asked me like 10 years ago, yes.
Yeah, if you ask him through his big Jimmy the Big fucking weeb.
That was one of
phase.
my early animes, and I was a fucking edgelord.
Paranoia.
the episode where the girl puts the knife against the wall and just stabs her head against the knife, I was like, yeah,
Jimmy's
I'm
favorite
done.
part.
That was, I think, the third episode.
I
or
watched the
something
whole
Yeah.
first season of that show.
like that. Ew.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Oh, I watched
There's,
the
there's
second
a new
season.
series coming out. I'm pretty sure. I think I told you guys.
Well, when the Seagulls
think I-
Cry has already come out, so
Yeah. Yeah, that was painful.
that was a rough one. That is a real thing.
no, what?
When the Seagulls Cry?
You didn't know
Is that
that?
a sequel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda.
same idea.
It's in like a mansion though, on like an island.
Oh, that's fucked. Okay, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
watching that.
Yeah, you don't
Anyways,
have
what's
to.
your favorite?
I don't know if you guys have watched this, but I was thinking about this earlier. And the one I always go back to is probably Punchline.
Punchline.
I think I know what it is.
What's it
Is it
about?
like the motorcycle chick with the costume, and the main character gets like a power, and then he dies?
That sounds like
Basically,
everything.
yeah.
I think I am thinking. It's
No,
like
I'm not thinking.
2 years old now.
I think a little older than that. It was just an anime that really subverted my expectations. I always go back to it when I'm trying to think of an anime that.
Oh.
It had very bright colors.
I like Durarara for that. Like Durarara is cool.
That one's good as well. I
Yeah.
don't know why I couldn't get through the second season.
I didn't
also-
watch the
I
second
also
season,
couldn't.
but the first season was good enough for me.
I have
Yeah.
the manga. Do you guys know what my favorite anime is?
Is it Haikyuu?
No, it's actually not.
Oh, is it not? It's
no,
Full Metal
it's
Alchemist.
Full Metal
Yeah,
Alchemist.
it's pretty.
I will never pick between Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood
They're
because you
different-
need to watch them
Yeah.
both.
yeah, they're two
Full
parts. of the
Metal
same
Alchemist, or actually, I'll start with Brotherhood. Is the way better story, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, some parts it talks about that you don't see in the show are things that happen in regular Full Metal Alchemist, like a lot of the filler stuff. So to fully get to know the two main characters, you have
They
to watch.
expand
the
a
first
lot in
one.
the characters in the regular one, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
But the story overall is longer and better in Brotherhood, and doesn't have such a weird ending.
Who's your favorite sin though?
Well, it depends on which one you're talking about because they have different names.
And they do,
in the
I
other
guess.
One. And there's because like Sloth was like his mom in the
Yeah.
original one, but Sloth was the big guy in the other one.
Yeah.
My favorite in general was it depends on which one you're
I liked
talking
Envy.
about. Envy was tough but confusing.
Yeah, very.
As a child, I didn't know what gender they were.
Yeah,
Fear Bradley though
Fear Bradley's cool.
in Brotherhood. where he-
Spoiler
with the
alert. Fear Bradley.
yeah, in the Brotherhood with like his swords, and he like stabs through Alphonse to kill the snake lady.
Yeah.
and then he just starts bleeding from. Oh, so
Yeah, he
tough.
fucked Greed
Yeah.
up pretty good too.
Yeah, he just dominated him. He
Yeah,
destroyed
Greed's
him.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm beat you, and then he's like, nah, no, you're not.
But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is one of the earlier ones I saw, and it's just the first anime I saw with a really deep story. The next one after that, after I saw that, I thought I was then like really intelligent and deep. So then when I first saw that a new anime was starting on YTV and called Death Note, I decided to start watching that, and I was like, oh, this is also deep. And you know, from there, I was like, I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna think I'm the
fair.
anime man.
Man, I can't imagine having watched Death Note back then.
I watched it as it aired,
Yeah, I
yeah.
watched it as it
Yeah,
aired.
I went back and like relatively late in my anime.
I remember
career.
going to my friends and be like, oh man, did you hear that Blank died? Oh man, that's like crazy, man.
Yeah, I remember I watched the episode when L died, and my mind was just blown. I was
You're like, who the hell's M?
oh, I love Mello was my favorite character.
Really? Oh,
Mello and Matt,
I
his like
hated-
his sidekick.
I hate it. Yeah, no.
Only Mello after pre or post explosion, where his hair gets shaggier and he
Oh,
gets a
okay,
scar.
yeah, that's okay, I guess.
Becomes
yeah.
much tougher.
Yeah.
I guess then the only last thing we're going to talk about anime is just the current anime season.
I want to go on. What if you can think of one anime you hate the most?
Oh man, this is my wheelhouse.
That's so much harder than an anime I like the most.
I'm gonna give you 3 actually.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like I know some of these. Like I feel like I
Take
know.
a guess. I want to hear what you
that-
think.
I just know when you say it, I'll know because I know there's an anime that you hate.
There's a character you always said you were the main character of,
I'm the main character of everything.
but my most hated would probably be
Oh
Kanokon.
no, I'm the main character of School Rumble.
Close but not right.
You don't like School Rumble?
No, he got it wrong.
No, okay, wait, I got this.
it
then.
has school in the name.
School Days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I'm the main character of that because he
I
has
was like,
sex with
fuck you,
everybody and then he
School Rumble's
dies.
great.
Yes. Oh, trust me, I wouldn't hate School Rumble.
Mike used to tell me this all the time that I was the main character of that
Harima's
show
my hero. I love Harima.
because he sleeps with everybody. He's a dick and then he gets stabbed to death. And I was like, well, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's
Is that the one where they cut in the boat? Like,
Yes.
Where they, oh yeah, that's good.
Should I be offended that someone told me that's me? Because when he started, I was like, that just means I get laid, bro.
every
bro.
character in that show is absolutely hateable. So that's
that's like me
fair.
watching Love is Blind on Netflix right now.
Just finished that.
Oh, did
God.
you watch it with her?
I heard it.
Massacre. I hate it.
Yikes.
We won't talk about this. It's not anime related. But
yeah, I could feel the hate.
It'll be turned into an anime within the next year.
yeah, can't wait. Okay, so what else was there?
The top one is going to be Kanokon. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one or.
I don't think so.
It's a series that suckers you in with really lovely visuals, and then everyone's hateable. And it's the only show I've ever seen where the main character literally tells someone, "I don't like you because you don't have big tits," and they still love him.
That's fair.
That's a fair reason.
I say that to women all the time.
That's just if you ever want to watch something bad, that's would be the go-to.
Okay, what's yours? I have no idea.
Okay, so it's
Because if I don't like an anime, then I just don't watch it.
really.
Yeah, there's so many where I will literally like.
I've
watch
watched
it.
a lot of shit, so it's really hard
Yeah.
for me to actually think of. I'm
There's
actually
so many-
surprised you had one.
There's
right
so
off
many
the top
more
of your head.
anime.
I thought about this on my way over. It was
Compared to TV shows, there's so many more anime where I'll just stop. I'll never finish if I don't like it. 'Cause compared to a TV show, I'll watch it all the way through if I've started.
Yeah.
And then at the end, be like, oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
But with anime, it's just like I will literally just stop
like
watching it.
I'm not a Gundam guy at all.
That's fair. I'm not a Gundam guy either. But
But-
Gundam
Yeah.
Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny are the best.
I don't like any of them. I'm not. It takes a special show that involves giant robots to be good for me. That is one of the exceptions.
Gurren Lagann?
Gurren Lagann is
Yeah.
up there. It's probably like 3 or 4 in my top. But I'm just
Something
gonna
like
say
Code Geass also.
Code Geass
is
was
really
good because it wasn't about the mechs. It was about the mind chess
Yeah.
than the mechs. The
They
mechs
were-
are just there.
they were a vehicle for the story.
Yeah, like I like Gun X Sword. It was okay, but like I've seen a lot of shit. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put mecha in general
In
for the most
general?
part. Like I know people love the mecha.
Yeah, it's a very specific mindset though.
I don't like that the characters aren't special. It's the robots.
I'm trying to think of what I hated. It's so
Like
hard.
I kind of regret asking because I didn't have a prepared answer. So
You're like, hey guys, what's this? Oh wait, shit, I have to answer.
Oh wait,
this
I have to
too.
come up with an answer too.
I'll probably think of one immediately finishing this.
Can I
but-
just say like the second half of every season of Sword Art because I always liked the first half so much.
Oh, that's totally legit. I do
Yeah,
like the
that's-
second half.
because
of
like
each.
I don't care about people's complaints about Sword Art for the most part. I will accept them, but then still be like, as a fan of video games, that's like the dream, you know.
Yeah.
And like the fact that Kirito,
Except that it was dot hack.
it's true,
Sure,
it's true.
dot
But
hack. And even there's a new one, I Hate Being in Pain, that does the same thing without being trapped.
Oh,
the thing about Kirito that like they don't try and hide in the show is the fact that he doesn't hate the fact he was stuck in there. You know, it's like he has to take like counseling and stuff like that after, but he like fully out admits he's like, I feel like I should feel wrong for this. He's like, but I don't hate the fact I was stuck in there. He's like, I like it more than real life. And I was like, yeah, that's, you know, a lot of times it would be like, oh, it's terrible. He's just like, no, like, you know, I
like,
like
I had
video.
fun.
He's like, I like video games. I was a fucking beater, yo. Like,
Yeah,
but-
I was OP. I was basically God. So
I like
then-
how we use that term in Destiny.
yeah.
We played betas, so we
Yeah,
were
so we were
beaters.
beaters. But every single time then, at the second half of the season, like there was the whole like Death Gun Gale online. I really liked
Yeah.
that part. And then they went to like the Asuna dealing with like the lady with like
the
HIV
first
or
half of the
something.
first or the second half of the first season was the worst.
Oh, Alfheim online?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it was just like you meet Asuna and she's like, hey, that's
She's-
a cool character.
Yeah, she's tough. She's a strong
Second
female lead.
season, oh help me, I'm
Yeah.
trapped.
They turned her into the
Please.
generic princess.
Yeah.
I
from
also I
everything.
liked the first half of the third, like Alicization or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The second half, Kirito's in like a coma, and then like it's
See, you
all
were selling
other
it
people.
to me, and then I just didn't watch it.
It's okay though because in the second half, it's just like there's no Kirito. It's like Alice and Asuna team up, and they're like fighting this like
Alice?
big
Oh no, I'm
war.
thinking Elizabeth. I
Yeah.
liked Elizabeth.
Yeah, no,
she was way
no one
cooler.
cares about her. She's
Fuck you. She's great.
She was my favorite.
Yeah,
I'm
see?
sure there's something I hate a lot more than that, but I can't think of it at this exact moment.
You know what? Disappointment can also be worse than outright hatred.
Because I always stop when it's bad. There's so many animes I've seen where I've watched like a few episodes in and like, no, I'm like, this isn't hitting it for me, and I just stop watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it like if it's something that doesn't work, like you actually brought this up earlier, the newest season of Berserk,
Yeah.
based on the source material, that is a
it
huge.
should be the
huge
greatest thing in the
letdown.
entire world. But
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Which that almost, I'm surprised you didn't list it as like your most, like the one
I-
you hate.
I forgot it. Damn it. I forgot
He
it.
wants to not even think about it.
Have you seen it?
No,
It's
I've seen
fucking-
what it looks like. Yeah,
It's fucking awful.
That's all that
Oh yeah, they're
matters.
fighting.
Have
They're
you
using.
seen the original Berserk?
Yeah.
Fucking dope. Dope as shit.
yeah. They made a weird decision, and
Yeah, they made a weird decision.
that's all.
We'll go with
I
that.
mean, even the original had the problem of it was basically a trailer for the manga for the most part.
Oh, absolutely. The ending of that made me angrier than anything in the world.
Oh yeah, that
I've never gone from like liking a character a lot to hating someone as much as that show. And you'll know exactly what character I'm talking about.
yeah.
if you see it,
Yeah.
I trust
If
me. I
you
watch
choose
this.
to go
Mike.
through.
Mike will not shut up about
Mike
that.
likes it. Yeah. Mike,
he actually likes the new season.
Oh, I
He hasn't
doubt
watched
it,
the new
but
season. He
Okay.
loves the
He
original.
likes the original. Yeah.
Okay.
Like honestly, I would almost say I dislike the original because it didn't do justice to the material.
It didn't, but that came out a long time ago.
Oh, it
Jimmy,
did.
And that was really violent for back then.
I have a hard
it
time
was.
watching.
It's more the
old
fact that-
anime. I said I have a hard time
old
watching
anime?
old anime.
It depends. Like,
We've been spoiled by how good anime looks these days.
I still like some of the hand drawn stuff though. I don't really like some of the
art-
CG done.
Art style is really secondary for me at this point.
I say I love art style.
Me, it's the fucking intros. The intros got to be dope. I can't believe Fire Force screwed up their intros.
my
man.
Yeah, but
God.
you know what?
They were outro and intro were
Do you know what
great.
animes have the best intros?
Good ones.
Sports anime.
They have okay ones.
I mean,
They're
they,
always
they
good.
fluctuate a little bit. It's like the Naruto thing. Like if you have enough of them, you're gonna have some good ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Bleach and stuff like that.
yeah. There's like anyone by Asian Kung Fu Generation.
I love them.
Fantastic.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the current anime season. We're not gonna get too big in spoilers
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I've been bad this season. I can say for certain. I've just been with our games and stuff like that I've been playing. I'm just behind.
I haven't been super pleased this season. Like once again, as I said, I've started watching anything that was new. I like started watching, but if I wasn't entertained at the first episode, I stopped watching it.
Yep.
So like, there's very little. There's 3 anime I watch. I'm pretty sure right now.
My
and that's
Hero.
it. So I have My Hero every Saturday.
Yep.
I have
Haiku?
no, actually.
Is it
Well,
over
yes,
now?
I do. No, it's still on.
Oh, okay.
But I was going with Wednesday first.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
even remember the name. Like Ahira no Sora. It's the basketball anime.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It looked silly.
It's
so I
got
didn't watch it.
it's got like the big lip art style kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's still a
Yeah.
good sports anime. It's entertained me more
It's
than a lot of
sports,
the
you're
other
gonna
things.
watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously last is Haikyuu, which I think is probably. I'd actually be interested to see which is more popular, Haikyuu versus My Hero Academia.
I feel like it's still going to be Haikyuu. Like
I feel like I think it might, especially in Japan. Maybe not, obviously not in like North America.
is eating up My
But
Hero.
in Japan, though, I think Haikyuu is like one of the biggest anime, if like not the biggest.
and they
one.
can have it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's a very specific taste. but-
I've decided this year I'm going as a Haikyuu character.
yeah, because it's cheap
for
and
Anime
easy.
North. It's cheap and easy, and it just kind of works out.
I'm going to go as Momo,
They have short shorts.
Which Momo? There's a lot of Momos.
My Hero.
That's a good idea. Yeah, That's a good
You
character.
know what? Just for the photos of you in that outfit.
Hell no.
But you
You
should go as
promise
grape
that?
juice.
No.
Be a sick cost.
I'm too tall for grape juice.
Just squat down.
Yeah, perfect. Bring like your
Hide your
shoes and
knees
put on
in the
your
little
knees on.
I
freaking
them.
could dress
thing?
up my kid as grape juice
That's true.
Why
That's
would
a
you
good
do
idea.
that to him?
because it's funny.
That's
a good
child
idea.
abuse.
It's not child abuse.
What else? And then I think that's all I've been watching right now. I'm sure you have some things I haven't been watching.
A few actually. I don't think I've actually been keeping up with any of those.
Not even My Hero.
My Hero, I made the mistake of reading ahead.
But there's so much good action.
you had that problem
scenes.
with Attack on Titan too. You're
No, I
afraid
didn't
to-
do that with Attack on Titan.
I
It
thought
was,
you did.
No, it was Rise of the Shield Hero I did it with.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
I
Okay.
still finished it.
When
Was it-
Attack on
who
Titan
was
comes
it that
out,
read
it's
Attack on
done.
Titan?
Trey.
It was yeah, it was
then you
Trey.
knew all the spoilers.
It was Trey. But yeah, Attack on Titan is the end of this
Oh,
year.
good. We almost didn't have a Trey shout out. Thank God.
Shout out to Trey.
Thank God.
Oh,
we were
man.
so close.
But yeah, that's the last season.
Yeah, when they come out with
because
one,
he's
it's-
officially drawn the last panel
when they
of
come
the
out
show.
with it, it's
Oh,
done.
wow.
Or of the manga. So
Man,
it's
the,
done.
the ending of the last season. Have you
So
seen it
good.
at all?
I actually fell behind on it.
Okay, well I won't spoil it, but
It's
it's like
good.
it's just like mind. You get
It-
mind fucked.
And this isn't spoiler. You know when something says, "Hey, do you remember this? You remember the basement?
Yeah.
Do you? If you don't know anything about it?
I have a theory about it.
Okay. Well, don't look into it until you watch the show. But the payoff for the basement, holy shit, is that worth the payoff? Because they kind of brush it off as being forgotten. Like it wasn't until like
Yeah, I was gonna say.
end of season 2 that like we should go to the basement, and then season
Yeah.
3 is like let's go.
Even then, you get so distracted by all the stuff with like
Yeah.
Kenny and like all
Kenny.
and all the all like the human drama that kind of starts.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the Titan power that I won't talk about.
Yeah,
but
there's like the Historia stuff. That's
yep.
big stuff.
But
I think I've heard a lot of the stuff you're talking about. But
holy shit.
Yeah, the last like couple episodes, there's so much like not just like like world breaking stuff. Like you're taught one thing at the beginning, and then everything in the last couple episodes is like, oh, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And
So
even
big
better,
changes.
time skip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Time skip.
Everyone
too.
gets cooler.
I knew there was a time.
There's nothing better in
Shippuden,
anime.
man.
That's the one thing that you can't do in live actions. You can't make time skip characters as cool as you can in anime.
Nah.
Where you
just get two completely different casts.
yeah, you're just like, hey, like look at this guy. You've been looking at him for like 5 years. Oh, boom! All of a sudden his hair's longer.
Yeah.
Because that's how you make every character cooler in anime.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know how you make them less cool in Naruto when you get them with short hair in the future.
Like who?
Hokage Naruto has short hair.
Yeah, he's got like almost like a crew
Oh.
cut.
It's not as cool.
Hinata gets longer hair.
That's true.
Yeah,
She's cool.
I mean, I feel like you're supposed to not be that into Naruto at that point. Boruto.
Fuck Boruto.
It's all about salad.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, okay. What else are you watching?
For me, a big one was Radiant or Radiant.
Oh, I looked at it a couple times. Be like, should I watch this?
The first
and I'm
couple
like,
episodes
eh.
are shaky, but it gets really good. They just actually wrapped up. Other than that, just for the weirdness, set in academy.
Yeah, okay. There's one of the ones I watched the first episode of and was interested but never kept going was the Somali and the Blind Forest.
I never actually started that one.
It's like the little boy.
Did you say Ori in the Blind Forest?
No, no. It's the with like the little boy
Yeah,
who
it's a boy and
travels
a
around with the
golem.
golem. Yeah,
Oh, neat.
art style's nice. Lots of
Yeah.
good colors. I don't know. I can't remember if it's like a young. It's like a very young child though, and it's
Oh
like
yeah, it's
the golem isn't supposed to have like emotions and that kind of stuff. But
Oh,
you
beep
know.
boop.
Yeah, beep boop golem. But it like helps the kid and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
okay. Sounds neat.
yeah, I watched the first episode. It was actually really nice, but then I just didn't keep going. So I don't know what the story's gonna have a plot or if it's just kind of just like go.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with anime
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think it's almost vignette style. Like it's just each individual story.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Other than that, the other one I've been really keeping up with was I actually mentioned earlier. I hate being in pain, so I'll go with a full defense build, which is kind of like the new video game isekai, but not really.
Is that on Crunchyroll?
No.
I was gonna say I have not seen
There's
that
a
one.
new one that's coming to Crunchyroll that is like that. It's like I've been reincarnated as a villain or something like that. Apparently, it's going to be really good, but I
sounds
just saw
really
ads for it the other day.
Online, I've also watched the what's it the one who the isekai where the guy likes to be really prepared, like the cautious hero.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, or there was the old one, the demon like reincarnated as like the demon lord one, where he like summons the. Or the
Oh,
girls,
how
like,
not to be
summon
summoned
him.
as a demon lord.
Yeah, that one. There's so many weird ones.
There's the Demon High School one too. I like that one.
So I couldn't find the how to not summon a demon lord one on Crunchyroll until I found I had to go on my Crunchyroll account and allow for 18 plus anime.
Yeah, I know, because there's some really messed up.
I was so
Oh,
confused
shit.
as to how I couldn't see that.
Am I missing out on anime?
Yeah.
You could be.
Oh, fuck.
On 18
Yeah, it
plus
was like
anime,
last
too.
year. I think they implemented the 18 plus.
Oh, I feel like you
filter.
told me to turn it off or something.
Yeah, because it was
Bro,
probably
was it-
that.
No, was it?
I don't know. Might have been. It's a funny
Was
anime.
it Parasite? Do you have to turn it on for
No, I
Parasite
don't-
the
Yeah,
maximum?
when Parasite
now
got
you
dropped
might have
on.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
Parasite
I turned it on
baller.
because Parasite was good.
Very good.
It was good.
That's one of the
And
ones
he
that Phil
got-
would probably like.
He got cooler when he put his hair up.
He did.
So,
Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What have you been watching other than My Hero?
My Hero. I've been really bad this season, and I'm even behind on My Hero. I think I'm 2 episodes behind.
Now, will this help you at all if I say that you should watch Haikyuu on Netflix?
I saw it on Netflix.
I think it's dubbed. I think they have the dubbed on
Yeah,
there.
I think it's dubbed. The answer's no.
But
I
it's so good.
No, I won't watch it.
So good.
Maybe one day.
I watched an anime analysis one day on YouTube, which was about the beauty, like the second season being like the first season's like almost like a prequel, even though it's with the main characters, but it's like
Yeah, because that's when they're still in middle school, isn't it?
no, the first season is the first episode or two is like middle school, but then it goes into
Okay.
high school. But it's like their first like little bit as a team, and then in the second season, it's like something big happens in the first season, and it brings them all together in the second season. A lot of that's about training and the like learning and.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet the thing in the first seasons they lost.
Listen, I can't say for sure, Jimmy. You're gonna have to watch the anime to find out. I'm telling you, you watch that anime, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this year, for me, it's been really like I've watched a couple of the first episodes, like the Ascendance of a Bookworm. Didn't like that one.
I couldn't get behind it.
I couldn't get behind it.
Yeah, it was a hard one to get into.
What other one? There's been a couple that I click on. I'm like, oh man, this
Yeah.
looks cool, and then
On first episodes, I did start Darwin's game last night.
Oh yeah, when does that come out?
I don't know. I
'Cause I
watched
feel
the
like-
first episode.
I feel like I watched the last episode like a while ago, and I haven't seen a new one since.
how many episodes? It says there are
There
4
are-
episodes.
I don't think it's on weekly release though.
I don't know. The first episode's really long. The other ones are all standard episodes.
Yeah, but I think they might be doing a bi-weekly release.
Episode 5 will launch on 3/8, so March 8th.
Oh, so maybe it did just come out. Like,
I don't know.
know.
That would be a week from today, so it would have dropped today.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe it
well,
came
then
out. Maybe
y'all
it
are
came out
stupid.
today,
It
and that's
came
why
out
it seems
today.
so long ago.
I don't know. I watched it at like 10 p.m. last night.
It's
I know, I
a
just-
it's a good anime. Actually, that's one of the other ones I've been watching. I forgot
Yeah.
about that one on
You
the
forgot
list.
about that one? Yeah, no, I'm literally, I clicked on my, like, what I've watched recently. Let's see, history. Home, history. It's probably Fire Force. Yeah, I caught up on Fire Force. And that was the last thing I watched.
In general,
That's
I think I liked, other than like My Hero and Haikyuu, which are two like my favorite animes. I think the amount of anime like the last season was better. You had all the big ones like Doctor
Dr.
Stone.
Stone was fantastic, and I can't
like
wait
Fire
for that.
Force.
That's another one I made the mistake of reading ahead.
Ah, Boo Earns.
But I just feel like they had
Cinco.
more. They had like a higher quantity of anime in the last season that I think were. But then like I don't think any of them were better than Haikyuu or
I
My
don't
Hero.
think it was even quantity. I think it was just quality. Like there was a lot more hypey anime that came out.
Because what was the other one? There was another big one that I can't think of that came at the same time.
As
Doctor
and
Stone,
Fire Force.
Fire Force. But I can't.
Fruits Baskets.
I did watch Fruits Basket.
Shokugeki season 3.
I actually haven't watched that yet.
I'm on episode 5.
I've been saving it.
I'm on episode 5. Demon Slayer was another big one.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's-
and
and
then-
that one was great. So
The
It
weird
is.
part about Demon Slayer is the next part of it is
a movie, and
Yeah.
the movie will tell that part.
Yeah, you need
and
to
then
see
you have
them.
to watch the
You have to see the movie.
the
before
new
you
My
go
Hero
in.
movie came out last week.
And I haven't seen it
You
yet.
haven't seen it yet? Yeah.
I don't think you can get a
Wow.
hold of dubs yet. Can
No,
you?
it's
I don't
sub
need-
and dub.
I don't
Oh,
need
is it?
dubbed
Yeah.
anyways.
Or,
I
meant,
still
like,
prefer
I meant
sub.
subbed.
Yeah, it's. I saw the ad and it said it's a released both.
Okay.
Maybe I'll
languages
be
simultaneously.
legally purchasing that to watch it.
Ah, wink.
What do you guys think about this season compared to last season or previous seasons?
I don't really have an opinion. I've only literally watched My Hero and barely. So I've been bad. I know I'm going to start again, but I have to finish our game swap game and then I'll do that.
True. Have you started it yet?
Yeah, I'm about 8 hours in.
Oh, Phil will be excited.
I only have 5 left.
So I only have 2 left.
You haven't fucking started it.
I watched the episode.
Yeah, but I gave him a game that's an hour and a half long and he
Listen,
hasn't finished it
at
yet.
D&D, bring your PlayStation 2 and then I can play it.
Did yours not work?
I haven't been able to find it.
dude, I have one I can give you. Jesus.
Which has 100
I have
apparently.
3, but
But yeah, what do you think about this season compared to last season?
I feel like I was a lot more hyped up last season. There was a lot more that was
I
really
think so.
calling out to me. This season's really more, I'll watch this because it's all I have.
I think that. What do you think about possibilities of next season? I would really like to see the
quintessential quintuplet.
the second
Yeah,
season. of
Quintessential Quintuplets is definitely
Quintuplets.
going to be a big one.
Because that was a really good slice of life anime. I found all
It
the
was,
episodes I
yeah.
was interested in.
Yeah, and then I mean, the Demon Slayer movie comes out next season. Is the next season of Shield Hero coming out next season as well? Or
I haven't heard
hope
anything about
so.
it. That would be nice, but I haven't heard anything. I feel like one of those.
I heard it was announced. I don't know when it's dropping.
There's so many shows I'm
What
still
about
waiting
the
for
Island
second
of Giant
season.
Insects, guys?
That's
That's
like
a
a movie.
movie.
I know.
Yeah, with like
I just
with
saw
an
it, so-
OVA,
yeah.
and it's also I think 18 plus or
Yeah,
something.
it is. It's,
Yeah, it's going to be a weird one to watch if you
it's
do.
on. It's out.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I would hope for the quintessential quintuplets. What else would I really want?
I want Demon Slayer season, like second season.
Yeah,
but
other than,
it's
like, the
it's a
movie
bit
just
away.
coming out
Movie
with
than,
it.
Yeah.
movie than season.
Yeah,
Did
Shield
they say
Hero.
when Attack on Titan is? Is it summer or is it supposed to be fall?
It's supposed to come out this year. That's
Yeah?
all I know.
Okay. It's
I don't remember
probably-
what season.
Probably a fall or winter.
Yeah, it'd probably be fall.
Yeah,
release.
if we haven't heard yet.
Yeah,
But there's not much that I can guess right now.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much everything for the anime talk for now.
Fruits Basket season 2 does come out this year too.
Oh.
I think it's pretty soon too.
That's good.
Yeah,
I'll
because
watch it.
I caught up on that.
I've missed the last like 4 episodes.
It's the last 4 episodes are the best part.
Oh, well, I guess I should see them then.
Yeah, get to work.
I'm sure we'll have an anime episode part 2 one day.
Yeah, we could do like a
When
bi-monthly one
when
or
more
something like
anime
that.
comes out. But for now, that's it on anime.
Hey there, Fancy Me and You here. If you want to see any of our older videos, they're in the section on the left there. On the top, you can see our previous videos. On the bottom, you can see every other one we've had. If you want to be a cool guy, you can hit that subscribe button. It's right in the center, right here. I'm waiting. Do it anytime. I got nowhere to go.